At this week's energy update, Electricity Minister Kgosientsho Ramokgopa said that his department is working with the South African Local Government Association to resolve Eskom's municipal debt problem. Municipalities owe Eskom 78 billion rand. At the same time, Eskom owes municipalities 349 billion. We spoke to the minister yesterday on the show and further unpacked other challenges within the municipalities, such as aging infrastructure. Let's now bring in the head of energy at SALGA, Nhlanhla Ngidi, for more on this story. Nhlanhla, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. Let's start off with the municipal debt, 78 billion, and the cooperation that you have with Eskom to try and resolve that particular issue. But as we've said in that introduction as well, the minister making the point that the municipalities are also owed over 300 billion rand by its customers.
Thank you very much, Aldrin. Good morning to you. Good morning to the listeners at home. Thank you for having me. And thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss our partnership with the Minister of Energy relating to the issues of municipal debt. Well, obviously, as you can see, the proportion of debt between municipalities and Eskom. If municipalities are owed about over 300 billion, obviously, the source of the problem is where municipalities needs to be collecting, and people are not paying municipalities. And here we're talking about, businesses and even government that is not paying, municipalities. And together with the Minister of Energy, I think there is that strong partnership where we're now going to be going out there, especially, targeting those businesses, targeting, the government itself, the government department itself that are not actually coming to the fore and exacerbating the issue of municipal debt. So what I'm saying is, the Minister of Energy's approach it's different than, the other ministers. He has realized that the source of the problem, it's at municipal level. There are structural and systemic issues and challenges that we are experiencing that leads to the increase in Eskom debts are starting in municipalities, and therefore we need to focus solutions in municipalities, and that is what we are doing now. This is what we are doing with the National Treasury, Debt Relief Program, where we're making sure that municipalities are not defaulting, on Eskom, and are not also dropping off the debt release problem, the debt relief program. Together with that program, there is a 2 billion grant that has been approved by National Treasury that is going to allow a rollout of smart metering to the municipalities that are being owed, by the customers. And I think one other thing that we forget to say, we always talk about solutions, but we need to have our people getting on board in terms of paying for what they consume, because I think this is becoming a sickness now. People want to consume services for free. And I think, over and above the solutions that we're going to have metering, we're going to have smart metering, we're going to have everything that is out there to actually make sure that we protect the revenue of municipalities and that they can actually collect and even exercise credit control. But if people are not paying, there's nothing we can do. So we have to really talk to the people. We have to go on a campaign and talk to the people about the importance of the municipal revenue and the sustainability of municipalities to ensure that people are actually getting the sustainable services.
Yeah, and the question around paying for electricity is also a cost issue, which the minister says that there needs to be a review around it. But then also the basic free electricity that should be made available to indigent households. The minister says that 10 million households qualify for that, but only 2 million of those households are actually on that indigent list. Is SALGA holding municipalities accountable around why are they not getting more households onto that list? Also considering that maybe if that is the case, if you do that, that would mean that even the amount of money that is owed by individual households to municipalities would go down. The minister says the grant is already there. It's not being used.
Yeah, no, thanks for that also. I think just to put a bit of clarity, there's 2 million people who are receiving free basic electricity, and the reason why there's 2 million people is because the indigent list is saying 2 million people. And the grant is paid according to the 2 million people. So what is supposed to be happening is the indigent system or the registration system of the indigents needs to be so efficient that it allows or enable the 12 million people that are supposed to be getting the free basic electricity, and therefore the grant that comes from National Treasury should be for the number of 12 million people and not 2 million people. So I wanted to clarify that it's not necessarily that the grant is being paid and nothing is being done.
But the money is there.
The wrong number.
So the money is there. Once those people are on the list, then the government would pay over the money to the municipalities. So who should be held accountable for not getting those indigent households onto that list?
Yes, no, we at SALGA, we do the data collection and research every year about free basic electricity. And we do make municipalities accountable for the mismatch in numbers that we see. We do also make municipalities accountable for improving and updating the indigent registers that they're having. There's a lot of wrong, a lot of incompetency that is happening, especially at ward level, because the ward councillors are supposed to be working with the communities to ensure that granny or grandmother that is illiterate and cannot read and cannot use a phone is able to get into the system. But those things are not happening. So there needs to be accountability at that level. So as SALGA, we're making sure that we are naming and shaming all those issues and making sure that municipalities come to the fore.
Which municipality would you say is the worst then when it comes to getting indigent households onto its list?
I think the question caught me off guard because I don't have the research.
Must name and shame them, as you say.
We're doing that. So we're doing that together with the minister. The minister has our research report that is talking about the numbers in municipalities. Without divulging the names, I could say that mostly the people that are indigent are sitting in the rural municipalities and also the metros, because there is where a flock of indigent people are actually at. So what is happening is the indigent list is quite alive. It's becoming a live document, and the number becomes a moving target. It's also a bit of a challenge for municipalities to always catch up with that, but they need to improve.
Would you be able to share that list with us?
Yes, definitely. We can share with you the report.
I want to move on to this issue now also, Nhlanhla, and that is in relation to load reduction. So while Eskom is speaking about 140 days now of no load shedding, and also that they actually have an abundance of load shedding, there's a surplus that is available. There are many communities, especially poor communities in townships as well as rural areas, that are being subjected to load reduction. So they don't get to experience this celebration of no load shedding and what it means because of load reduction. I spoke to the minister yesterday. I want you to listen to what he said about what's the cause for load reduction, and I'd love to hear your response as SALGA. Just listen to what the minister had to say yesterday.
So it's a problem on the distribution side, and it reconciles with the point I made earlier on. You shared with the viewers that there's 18 million households. I'm saying that you don't have 18 million households. You've got significantly more. And this is reflected in this, the challenges on the capacity of the distribution infrastructure is under strain, because there's more and more people and households that are drawing from that infrastructure. As a simple illustration, you'll have a transformer that is providing electricity to trees. But over a period of time, there's been informality, a proliferation of informal settlements close to those 3 streets. They draw from the same transformer. So as opposed to having a transformer that provides 3 streets, or let's say 50 houses, so suddenly those number of houses have gone to 150. That transformer can't carry it. What do municipalities do to protect the transformer from exploding, failing, and therefore replacing it? What they do, they choose the easy option and say, I'm not going to give you electricity during peak hours.
Well, Nhlanhla, that is what the minister had to say. Does this mean that municipalities must bear the responsibility and the municipalities are to blame for load reduction? because you don't have the transformers that have the capacity to distribute the electricity that is required by households?
Yes, now, without answering your question directly, I would say that, with the issues at distribution, we are a victim of our own successes with connecting people and wanting to connect everyone. The government wants universal access to electricity. And how did we do that? We did that with a grant called Integrated National Electrification Program. And we promised people 100% or universal access. And we've been connecting, and that's why we got it wrong. We've been, and we are still connecting people on the grid. When there are lots and lots of solutions out there on the private sector that can actually give people still sustainable energy package without connecting them to the grid. And that actually can even solve the issue of, the proliferation of the human settlements that are actually connecting themselves illegally to these transformers and overloading them, therefore having, the load reduction. There, if you roll out aggressively the energy packages that are going to be giving these people sustainable electricity without connecting them to the grid. And that is a discussion that is already taking place between SALGA and the Minister of Energy, where, for an example, we would like these, households that qualifies for, free basic electricity and for the grant, which is the INEP grant. We want to give them, a solution that entails a solar panel, an inverter, and a battery that can be able to have a sustainable energy package without them wanting to connect themselves illegally on the grid. Yep. So that's the issue we're having. It's illegal connection.
Which means that for now, those communities, and amongst those communities, actually you have people that are diligently paying their electricity bills, but however now they are put amongst this particular crop of people that don't pay or connecting illegally. For now, they'll just have to hang 10 up until that solution is being distributed across the various municipalities. It means that the electricity discrimination will continue.
Well, no, definitely I'm talking about the solution and not that nothing is happening, because I think we're having a scourge of this illegal connection and, vandalism of infrastructure. Municipalities on a daily basis, they spend millions, disconnecting people who have connected themselves illegally on the grid and on the transformers. But, they do that today, and tomorrow Izinyoka are connecting themselves back. So this is a scourge and a sickness that we have in the country. And that's why we can put a responsibility on municipalities, but also as the people, we need to be responsible. We can't be doing that. We can't be connecting ourselves back when we've been disconnected the previous day. We understand that people do not have electricity. They need to have electricity, but you cannot do that illegally. What is happening now is if a transformer bursts and it has those illegal connections and people who don't pay, yes, you are right. That is where the people who are paying, the people who are good citizens, they suffer now, because Eskom or a municipality would say, before I replace this transformer, the people who are not paying must give me a certain deposit before I switch back this transformer. And that is part of the credit control mechanism to get people to pay. But, it's moving very slow because people are not working with us. Our citizens need to work with us.
Okay. And Nhlanhla, thank you so much for your time. Nhlanhla Ngidi is the head of energy at SALGA. Really appreciate your time.